Welcome back, guys, and another instalment of the Standard 8. So as you can see, it's still in pieces, but I've just taken delivery of that. So let me show you what it is. 3 guesses for what it is. So yes, it's a radiator. Now, you can tell by the size of the box, it's not going to be the same type, and there's a reason for that. This is actually knackered, it's got a hole in it, the fins are all about had it as well, and it's probably original. Good testament for how long it's lasted, because if it is an original, 1957, it's not bad, even though the car was taken off the road in 1996, I think, something like that. But wanted a radiator that was actually going to work with this engine, so to keep this one cool, and the new engine eventually. So obviously, any older people to this channel, you know what I did with the B, and it's going to go down the same route. Basically, that is a Honda Civic Rad. Now, that looks smaller to me, but apparently it's the same radiator because I bought it from the same supplier. Let's have a look. And this is in all of her aluminum glory. Now, yes, it's not as wide, but it's a damn sight thicker, and I think it's a bit taller as well, but it's going to be far more efficient than that. So, hey, I've been through this before with the B because it started overheating on the original radiator as soon as I put the turbo on. So I'm just going down the same path because it's tried and tested by me, and I know it works. So it's a Honda Civic Turbo Rad, so aftermarket Civic Turbo Rad. These have come up pretty cheap now. The MX guys use them quite a lot when they have I think it's the Bengi turbo kit, so that's where the radiator and the intercooler are side by side, because these are obviously narrower than the MX-5 units. So that's the reason why I've gone for it, and it works perfect on my other car. What I need to do now is part of the whole front structure, the radiator is part of that. So it actually holds it. So if you notice here, it's come away. So if I push that, you'll see that it actually... So I don't want to be mounting that until I know I've got this perfect, and also I'm going to need it for mounting the wings anyway. So my idea is take the topos off, weld a steel bar across the two with that pushed in at the right location. Then I know that when I take the radiator out, this thing ain't going to go flexy, and that was not going to go flexy. They're going to be correct. So that's what we're going to get on with. So here we go. What we'll be doing is I can either weld it to the top, and means I'm going to cut it down, but I will need to push this side over and put the radiator down. But I can weld it to the top there. Shouldn't be in the way then, actually. That makes more sense to do that. So we'll get the flap disc out and start cleaning up this area, but you kind of see what I'm trying to do. Just hold it, otherwise watch, that just does that, and this whole inner wing uses the radiator's support. There we go. So it was a pretty much, we know, because those bolt holes line up now, whereas they wouldn't before, and I needed it so I could sort this all out. So we know the front end is now solid, just a couple of little tacks, which means the radiator can come out, front panel can come off. Got to admit, I do like it without the front end on. Let's put the radiator, just prop it there, shall we? Perfect. That really should not be too hard to make. Some brackets. It has actually got holes where the radiator fan goes, so I could use those anyway. Perfect. The more pressing things to do before we get onto that radiator is fit this. Now, as you can see, this wing is pretty bad. These areas, there's no repair panel for. You can only get the lowers and around the headlamps. So I'm going to have to rebuild it. And these are all handmade as well. I've done one side a different way and I don't like it. I'm going to do this another different way, which will joggle it and just do a couple of puddle welds, and then at least that's tacked in place, so I can start rebuilding that. And I've got a straight edge to go against. The main thing I need to sort is this area, which, as you can see, is pretty much gone. Now, because of that, we have a new tool. We have this, a finger brake. So this should make building that piece relatively easy now, because we can just get another bit that's pretty much the same size and just bend it into place. So, and also I need it for this back section which I was on about before. The other thing that has turned up, or say turned up, I collected yesterday, is a new bonnet, because that bonnet was full of filler. Literally, all that white is all filler, obviously, but it's just been filled across the back. It was shocking. So, we've got a new bonnet. Well, say new bonnet. It's apparently a commercial bonnet because it's not got a strengthening rib that goes down that edge. It's only got the crosshatch section. I don't know if it's supposed to have one at the back either. I can't remember what he said. So it's a commercial bonnet, so from a standard 8, standard 10 van. But apparently it wasn't ever fitted. It was painted up and then left in storage in case the delivery driver pranged it, but back in the 50s. The camera makes it look like there's a dent, but there isn't. It's literally mint. So it will save me a heck of a lot of time than trying to fix that one. Someone else can have a go with that one. We'll just fling it on eBay. So that's that sorted. Obviously, since the last video, I've done those pieces. They just need the welds grinding back. All of these holes are going to have riv nuts instead because I can't be arsed with all of the it's like self-tapping screws or self-tapping bolts. They're like this. They're a nightmare. The other thing I have done, which you'll probably see at the bottom, if I spin this wing round, is this one has been repaired. You can see there's a repair section at the top corner as well. So that's been repaired. Now the actual repair panel is too short, so I'm going to have to lock that bottom bit off and extend it slightly. But you'd never see it anyway, so because it's underneath the car or the base of the car. As you can see, I've had to put in repair panels here and repair there and up that section there. So it will need a degree of filling. But as you can see, there's a line of filler anyway, so what are you going to do? The rings aren't available, so there's not much you can do about it. You've got to repair or build on what you've got. So that's what we're on with. Doors-wise, we've figured out, if I can find it, the doors don't actually, because these are newer doors. No, these are older style doors, sliding windows, which the original ones were wind down that it came with. The problem is the door latches are different. Now, the door latches, I'll show you because there's one on this side. That's a standard door latch. So it's just like what modern cars of today really have. If you notice, these are what you would call in the UK Yale lock. So they look a little bit like a Yale lock. Well, they're not going to work with that at all. So they've got to come off. Now that one is the only one that I can't get off. So, but I wanted, before I just had to cut it off or anything, I wanted to make sure it was all right. But what we did find out, because of good old Gregor, said, I think a Land Rover Series 2 type will fit that. And here we have is a Land Rover Series 2 type striker. So obviously it would be mounted like that on the car. The car door closes and then it goes clicks in. Now, yes, that will physically go. The Yale section will physically drop inside here, but that is too tall. Luckily, as you can see, it's one singular piece and there's quite a lot of, well, it's all meat. So as long as you weren't going below this section, you'd be all right. Which I think it's only about 3 or 4 millimeters to take off. And it pretty much mounts up. So it pretty much is, it lines up perfectly, would be that way around, wouldn't it? And these are relatively cheap to get hold of. So, perfect, like it was made for the job. Awesome sauce. So the front section's got ish of a repair. It's going to need to be ground back. Obviously these are going to need to be ground back. What I have done is, I'll show you actually on the car. I decided to put riv nuts on these. And down here there is a repair to do on this section. And these need grinding down. Reason being is, as I said before, the actual wings Must have been, my MG never had these sort of things. It's these khaki clips, and they wobble, they come out, and they don't tighten up properly. So the fact I've got a heck of I haven't done that one down, I haven't tightened that one up. The fact I've got a load of these riv nuts anyway just kind of made sense. What I've got to do is drill the ears which go into here, but I think this is pushing this side over too much. So I think because what happened was I used the radiator, because the radiator kind of holds these two together, and I pushed it, and I've got a sneaking suspicion I pushed it too much, and that's not welded quite right. So the only way I'm going to get this correct, because I don't want to drill those or oval them out, is take this bar off, put the wings on, put the bonnet on, make sure that, because this line here, which is the top of the wing, obviously, when it's bolted on, should be hidden by the bonnet. So when I've got them both bolted on, as long as they're both hidden, I'll just take that off and weld it down here in the correct place. So you kind of know where I'm at with that. So pardon me, woo! Got one more to do, and they're just standard riv nuts. Now you could say, well, they're made out of aluminium and this is steel, different metals, and blah, blah, blah. I don't really care. That's what I'm going to say about that. So that's kind of what we're at the moment. Still got to weld the inner sill down there. This side's complete. I'm not bothered about that. And obviously there's a piece under there, but that's the reason why I've got this puppy. So hopefully make that job easier. Unfortunately, the width of that, because they haven't got the 910s in stock, is shorter than that. So I'm have to do in two pieces, so I'll just halve it, really. It is literally just like a U like that, and just welds against that lip. So, and I might get a dimple die kit. I've seen a couple online and make dimple die underneath. It'll look quite nice then. Come MOT time, even though it doesn't need an MOT, but I like to MOT them. But what I'll do is I'll start drawing these up, because I'm not trained on CAD, so it's all kind of new to me anyway. It takes me ages, but let's see what I can mock up, and we'll get on to that. Okay, guys, so there we go for another video. Obviously, if you want to see more of the welding and everything, then just comment that you want to see welding and stuff like that. At the moment, I'm just trying to keep the videos shorter, and I'll just keep uploading more. Obviously, by not showing as much welding, it means I can edit these a lot quicker. But it's up to you. If you want to see the welding parts, then I'll just add them all in, because I do film most of it. I'll just skip it out. So there we go. I'll see you in the next one, I guess.